So before we do sit together, I just have to say, those of you who are big Stephen Sondheim fans, which you know how I feel about him, this morning on the Daily, there was a magnificent 30 minutes or so of Michael Navarro interviewing Jesse, I forget his last name, who was the chief New York Times critic of theater. And if you know nothing about Stephen Sondheim, and if you think you know everything about Stephen Sondheim, you need to hear this because it is spectacular.
What is the show again?
It's The Daily. The New York Times, Janet, The Daily podcast.
Oh, the Daily Podcast. Okay, thank you.
So good. I don't even know what to say. I just, every time and they play, of course, some of the music from Company and Sunday in the Park with George. So it's spectacular. And, now on another side, I was talking to Elaine about this. I think it's so important to fill yourself up with these kinds of things to balance the other. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we could go and I find myself, I go down, down, down. And then I try to get buoyed up by particularly music, particularly for me anyway, Broadway music. And then, of course, if you didn't see Lin-Manuel Miranda's tribute to Sondheim on Sunday in Times Square, again, something that will just fill you up to pieces, so much so that you'll watch it again and again and again. And I think we need that upliftedness. Do you agree? You can just shake your head. Yeah, I really do. It's so important just to stay, just stay like Narayan says, just stay. So we're going to sit together, sit in a way that there's no struggle to sit. Meaning if you need to find a chair, that's fine. The main thing is that you're comfortable and you're not struggling to maintain that posture. For that matter, you could stand, you could lie down. On different days, it could be different. And although, I will say that we sit together every time we meet, and sitting is sitting, but it's different every time. It's never the same. Very similar to our yoga practice. No shavasana's the same, no Chitta Trikanasa's the same. Every moment is different. So again, wholeheartedly be present with your sit, just to rest, just to gather, just to strengthen, just to attune yourself. And see within this period of sitting, if you can begin to get a glimpse, just a glimpse of no contraction, no tension, no thought of improving, no thought of what's going to happen next. What's this class going to be like? Just letting go of everything imposed and mechanically controlled. See if you can allow yourself to surrender to the possibilities, to the unknown. And in that way, you can make the space for peace, for silence, and for resilience. And then when you're ready, you can take on your personal vow, repeat that silently, or the one that we've been doing for some time now. So if it's helpful, you can fold the palms in front of your chest. May I be a boat, a raft, a bridge for all beings to cross the flood. May I be a resting place for the weary. May I be medicine for all who are sick. May I be a lamp in the darkness for those who are lost. May I do so as long as earth and sky and galaxies exist. Until all beings are enlightened, I vow to be here to serve them all. And then when you're ready, if your eyes were closed, you can lift your gaze, open your eyes, and stretch out your legs. So we'll start with one supine pose, and I'm going to give you a choice based on what we did the past week and certainly on Tuesday. You can do the Viparita Karani at the wall, which we did, I believe, on Tuesday. You can do Paryankasan, which will need 2 bricks on the high side, and then bolster to support the trunk as you'll come into Supta Virasana. And then if that doesn't work, then Supta Swastikasan, cross your shins, and Quasi Jeta. Okay, so I'll give you lots, hi Gail, lots of choices. And I think, now that we're, I think if I see that anyone has, is clueless, I'll even Supta Baddha Konasana with trunk support. So I'll give you lots of possibilities. So some of you I can see are the ones taking Viparita Karani. Tristan, yeah, you can start with Paryankasan. Val, that's good. Show me in profile. I'm doing this Paryankasan. So Tristan, you weren't here on Tuesday. Fine. We had done all the Paryankasans. Straight legs. Remember, straight legs could be good, Lindsay B. Straight legs, or Baddha Konasana and Paryankasan, or Swastikasan and Paryankasan, or the classical Elaine as you're doing Virasana legs. So I'm going to give you lots of choices. Thank you all for getting back to me so promptly about the props. I really appreciate that. And then I thought if the studio were to ever open, then you could just get a nice little IKEA bag, bring your props here, and then you have the choice of keeping them here for yourself or taking them home again. So it's all good. All right, so good. I'm glad to see, and this is why I like to teach this way, where we do something one week and then repeat it. Head support if you need it. Yeah, you can take any of those supine poses. Janet, that looks really good. And then you know what's nice, Janet? Put your hands on your armpit chest. So that, yeah, and just really like spread the skin there. Spread the skin. Now, if it's very high and the arms up, the lower arm doesn't come to the floor, then you could support the forearm, elbow, hand with a blanket. Remember, the buttocks need not rest on something. Yeah, that's fine. Supta Baddha Konasana, fine. Thighs apart so that your diaphragm can spread. Good. Trunk supported, yeah, in Baddha Konasana. Just so it's more for the organic body now to merge the body, the breath, and the mind, to bring it together. Which, as I said, in this time, these days, it's so easily. I was talking about this again with Elaine yesterday, to become fragmented. And how do we become whole? So wholeheartedly bring your attention now to the breath, breathing in and out through the nose. And just enjoy your breath. Again, no need to improve, no need to manage, no need to impose. This first pose, born from the breath. Quieting the mind, coming together, if you will. Finding out what you need to do to be comfortable, to be at ease, because that's really what practice is. It's living your way into an answer for your body and mind, finding out what you need. That's how I would define practice, yoga practice. Not about imposing someone else's instructions on you. It may not work. So I know there's a lot of leaf blowing in the background. It's been a lot of leaf blowing, many Zoom calls, and sorry for that. Now, those of you who are in Paryankasan, you can touch the arms overhead, and then Baddha Hasta, and then stretch the arms overhead. Change the cross into Baddha Hasta, and then you'll come into Supta Virasana when you're ready. Just as a reminder, this can be done with hands at the wall. Sometimes the measurement's a little bit challenging to take, but when the hands are at the wall, especially when they're overhead, it can help to keep the arms straight. If you need trunk support, take it. Those of you in straight leg Paryankasan, Lindsay B, you can try the Baddha Konasana or the cross-legged. It's a possibility. Gail, you can do quasi-jectura after that. Knees swung side to side, good for your low back. Okay, so now we were coming into Supta Virasana with trunk support or blanket support. Remember, you'll need trunk support if the knees fly up. Separate the thighs a bit, again, to spread the diaphragm. In fact, you can put your hand on your navel band, slightly below, and remind that area, that muscle of respiration, to spread. Continue to enjoy your breath. Now, because some of you do not do Paryankasana and Supta Virasana and get the opening of the hip flexors. So Supta Virasana is a supine Ekapada-Bekasana. So in a moment, we're going to do that. Those of you who have been in Supta Virasana clearly find it more easeful having done that, but don't worry. Now, I will say, and I've said this at times over, if it bothers your knee, Lindsay V, to do the Ekapada-Bekasana prone, then you can do the Theta, the standing variety, and option, put the kneecap on the chair, because when you press the kneecap into the chair, it helps you lift that side of the pubic bone up. So that's a very good way to do the Theta Bekasana, and probably better than holding a strap, I would say. Tristan, I hope you agree. All right. Now, when you're ready, those of you who are in Supta Virasana, place the hands in the arches of the feet, press the shins down, inhale, come up, and then everyone could give a good stretch to the legs in Dandasana, having been in Baddha Konasana. All right. So I'll just demonstrate Theta Bekasana rather quickly. Let me show on my worst side, because you're going to start bending the right leg. So this is and how we can use Ekapada-Bekasana as a platform for the prone back bends, which we haven't done in some times. Not everybody's favorite. Patricia used to call them grunt poses. So I'm placing my left forearm in front of you. But actually, before I do that, you're going to turn the thighs from the inside out. Spread the backs of the thighs. Move the buttock flesh toward the heels. The tailbone is chiseled down to the floor. And then the left forearm is placed so you can lift the chest up. Now, here's the thing. When you bend the right leg, the leg will want to go out to the side. So stay on the median line of the front of your right thigh. And then you can reach back, but you want to bring the heel as close to the floor before you turn the hand, lifting the elbow up so that the heel comes down to the floor. Okay, so don't be overzealous in reaching for the foot before it's as close to the floor as possible, right? You think that, you know, it's fairly obvious, but I've seen that happen with so many people on, you know, reaching back for the foot. And if they have short arms, right, that's it, Elaine. Okay, so see if you can, you'll get a better turn if you have more of your hand on the metatarsal and then quickly. Now, if this doesn't work, Lindsay V, exactly. Theta Bekasana, same pose with kneecap on the chair. Good, Tristan. Now, one last thing, many things, but one last thing. So as you're taking the right heel to the floor, that right side of the armpit chest stays back. Can you roll? Imagine my hand at the back of your armpit chest, roll it forward as you continue to press the left forearm down, lift the chest up so that the shoulders are balanced side to side. That's a little bit nuanced. Ellen, see if you can move the right thigh a little bit back into the median line. Okay, and Shane, actually in between sides, do Cobra. We did it on Tuesday. And there's different Cobras, one in which has straight arms, one in which has bent arms. You can do Cobra at the wall. Do the one that has bent arms. And as I said on Tuesday, because that's more for the upper back, which gets addressed, but keep the arms bent, Lindsay. Yeah. So do this, everyone. Start again like we did in Ekapada. Turn the thighs from the inside out. The hands go by the armpit chest, not in front of the shoulders. Okay, then you kind of slither, shimmy the side walls of the waist forward, then press down, arms stay bent, and feel that indentation in your upper back. Keep the back of the neck long. Don't lift the chin up. Sense, good, Janet. Sense you're looking forward actually from the bridge of the nose. That's a good instruction so you don't get that dead, a little bit, yeah. Yukiko, see if you can keep the neck long. So kind of on a horizontal plane to the floor. Okay, we'll do it again after the left side. It seems like a moot point, but what I've noticed in Cobra is a lot of people do this to their head. They kind of just throw the head back and they get that deep indentation. What I'm saying is to spread the skin at the back of the skull. Often we place our hands in this manner when we go over the chair for Viparita Dandasana, and look forward from here, the bridge of the nose. It has a very different effect, much more quieting. Okay, so now Eka Pada Bekasana, other side. Lindsay, you'll use the chair the other side. That's it, Val. So see if you can bring the foot as close to the floor as possible. Good, Val. And then quickly turn the hand. And now the left armpit stays back. Roll that left, that's it, Tristan, you got it. Roll the left armpit forward, and then press the right forearm down. Have it about 4 inches from the collarbones. If it's too far away, you won't get the lift. Well done. Okay, and then change sides. No, not change sides. Go back to Cobra. Sorry, Cobra. So spend some time with Cobra. First, adjusting the backs of the legs. You're on the tops of the foot, knee into knee. Legs belong to the floor. Good. Hands by the armpit chest, which we just alluded to in Eka Pada. And then I won't be able to see it, but you can feel it. You can even put your hands shimmying the skin on the side, shimmy the skin, move the skin. That's a doable action. May not be observable, but it's doable. Shimmy the skin forward and then press down, go up a smidge so the upper chest clears just so that the elbows stay bent. Feel it in the upper back, T9, T10, and then again, look forward from the bridge of the nose. Well done. Okay, and down you come, just rest there. All right, now, Elaine, you can do the plank. You don't have to do plank, Adho Mukha Svanasana 2 plank. So this is the one we're gonna do, and I wanna see it in profile, so I can determine if you need to lift the abdomen away from the floor, or you're not getting the pelvis, the tailbone to chisel down. So you'll take Adho Mukha Svanasana. We'll do it from an all four because we're going to continue with our work on the jumpings from Utkatasana. All right, so I'm going to show you in profile because my need to be corrected. I was laughing one day. I was looking at these videos, which are heinous to watch on some level, and I was showing Virabhadrasana 3. And saying, oh, the leg has to be parallel to the floor. And my leg wasn't parallel to the floor. I just cracking myself up because why didn't I look at the screen? All right, so watch. So I'm taking Adho Mukha Svanasana. All right, now I'm gonna come into plank. So plank is like plank. It's a board, right? It's one of those boards, I should get it. It's not this, right? Nor is it this. This is what I often see. So I have to chisel my tailbone down, but I have to press the hands down, go up through the inner arms. So my abdomen, and we did this with the abdominal work, feels like it's lifting away from the floor. So think of, was doing this, looking at these beautiful half round bricks, right? So it feels like when I'm in plank, my body is like a plank of wood, all right? Shoulders in line with hips. All right, let's take it. We'll do it a few times. All right, so let's do, Elaine, you can go up and down from plank, my friend, or stay in it as you're doing. Beautiful pose, Elaine. All right, up you go. Now come forward into a very high quality of plank. You can do it, Gail, from prone, no problem. Now stay there. Val, you're dipping a little bit in the abdomen. A little bit more, lift up. Sense your a little more. Sense of buoyancy in the navel. Lindsay, good. Blocks can be helpful. Beautiful, Tristan, Janet, Ellen. Yes, Gail. Okay, now, again, do 6 of them. So now that I've seen everyone, these look good. We can go back to dog. or just whole plank. Now just make sure you're not overarching in your lumbar. So imagine you have like a sash at the level of your waist or my hand underneath you. Janet, good. Reach through the inner heels. Very similar to like a Chaturanga Dandasana. Good, Tristan. Okay, Ellen, good, 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 good. All right, and another. That's it, Val. Now you have it. Good. Elaine, you can stay or not. Ellen, good. Backs of the thighs spread. Open up that heel hinge. Open up that heel hinge. Beautiful, Janet. Okay, and rest. Take your bolster, which should be about, some of you used it in the supine posture. So there are, Chaturanga Dandasana is a tricky pose as you get older because it can have ramifications on the rotator cuff. So my MO is to do one a week, one high quality one. One a week, like one arm balance a week, one high quality. And we'll get to that. Before we get to that, but this is kind of everyone's favorite Chaturanga Dandasana, where you use the bolster and just go into the geometry. So you all know it, so just watch. I like this way better than at the wall, which can be done, or at the stairs, which is a beautiful way to do it. But, of course, the stairs aren't in your room, so watch. So I place the body, and then again, I have to look at my screen because I don't want the hands here. The upper arm and the lower arm form a right angle. These frontal deltoids are not dropping to the floor. So I imagine Tristan in front of me, cupping my frontal deltoids and lifting them away from the floor. My hands are off the floor. My palms are spreading like Adho Mukha Svanasana. And notice how I'm on the balls of the feet, reaching through the inner heels. If you want to do it with the heels at the wall, fine with me. Okay, so let's do this first Chaturanga Dandasana on bolster, which is of course very easeful, but you actually get a lot of work on this. You can feel the abdomen engaging. You're not going to lift yourself off the floor. Look at yourself in the screen. Good, Janet. So your upper arm and lower arm form a right angle. And then tuck the toes under, charge through the heels. So that the legs aren't bending. Well done. And now imagine I'm in front of you. Good, Yukiko, lifting the fronts of your deltoids away from the floor. So the shoulder blades are flat against the back, flat against the back. And just hold it. Keep moving the buttock flesh toward the knees. Don't let the buttock flesh hike up. Trapezius also moves to the waist. Neck is long. And again, as I alluded to in Cobra, gaze forward from the bridge of the nose so you're not lifting the neck up, getting that horrific pain in your neck. Ellen, you could be a smidge more to the head side, I think. So a little bit more of the thighs are on it. Scoot heads up toward your head. Okay, at ease. We'll do one more. At ease. So you can have, so your chest, I have the root of my thigh on the bolster. You can see that. All right. All right, here we go. One more. See if you can hold it for about a minute. Seems like nothing. I know, for those of you who do Chaturanga Dandasana, but it's something. It's not nothing. Janet, take the hands slightly back. Now don't let the elbows bow out to the side. Inner elbows into the midline. Inner elbows in. Lift the shoulders away from the floor. Neck long, Yukiko, look forward from the bridge of the nose. Okay, well done. All right, now come off the bolster and we will get back to Chaturanga, but not, we're going to take a brief detour. Take your belt. You can, if you have the short Puna belt, you can use that. We're going to do Shalabhasana. And you're going to belt not the ankles, but the outer edges of the feet. So make it tight. It will actually, when you do Shalabhasana, which is, a kind of a grunty pose, it's not, necessarily fun for some people, but not for everyone. When you belt the feet, it makes it easier to lift the roots of the thighs. So when you're in Shalabhasana, the fronts of the thighs have to be off the floor. I have my hands on the fronts of the thighs. And that's where it gets tricky. So, well, actually, before you put the belt on, just take wait here. Can we do this just to drive home a point? So you're going to lift one leg because it's a heck of a lot easier to lift the root of the thigh. You see, I can get my hand between the top of the thigh and the floor. So you'll do right side, left side, right side, left side. Then we'll do both legs, and then we'll put the belt on, okay? Just making it up as it go along. All right, here we go. So arms can be down by the side. Use the hands to turn the thighs from the inside out. Okay, now simply raise the root of the right thigh. You've got to get good, Lindsay. The whole leg off the floor. No one's root of the thigh is on the floor. Good, and descend. All right, now lift the left leg up. Just that root of the left thigh up. Point the foot straight back and repeat. Well done. Right side. Good. Left side. All right, now try this. Not the typical Shalabhasana arm position. Just cup your hands so that you're resting your forehead nicely on that little restful cushion of your hands. Elbows out to the side, kind of like Makrasana. All right, now join the feet. Turn the thighs from the inside out. Chisel the tailbone down to the floor. Buttock flesh belongs to the knee side. Now see if you can raise both legs off the floor. Not so easy, right? Kika, that's it. Lindsay, see if you can lift the roots of the thighs off the floor. It's not easy. Elaine, you have it. Okay, now come down. I wanted to do it this way because now you'll appreciate the belt more. Because originally I was thinking just do it with the belt, but you can really develop that appreciation of the belt. Now we'll see. And then what I would do is before you get back down on the floor is have a blanket. A blanket when I need it. I sold all the blankets, Joe. Here's the blanket, okay? So you'll have the blanket in this configuration. Guess why? In case your roots of the thighs don't lift off the floor. Okay, so we did it without belt. Now we're doing it with belt. And then we'll do it with blanket and belt, okay? So lying flat on the prone. Your outer edges of the feet are belted. You have the blanket nearby so you don't have to get up with your feet tied up, which is kind of miserable. All right, here we go. Don't use the blanket yet. You'll see if you need it. Maybe you won't. All right, now turn the thighs from the inside out. Now take the arms just down by the side. And turn the palms up toward the ceiling. All right, now lift both legs up. Try not to get a foot cramp. Spread the feet. Keep the roots of the thighs lifting off the floor, even if you need to put your hands underneath the roots of the thighs. Neck long. Playing good. Neck long. Neck long. Okay, now come down. Those of you who clearly didn't get the thighs off the floor, I know you know who you are. Put the blanket underneath so the blanket is not underneath the pelvis. It's underneath the roots of the thighs in this manner. Do you see? Because if you have it underneath the pelvis at the navel band, the chiseling of the tail band can't happen. I chisel my tailbone to the floor, which naturally happens, and I raise the roots of the legs. Gail, I wish I could see you. That sunlight is pouring through and you become like a beam of light in your signature pose. All right, raise the legs up, neck long bow. Elaine, lift, 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 my friend. Lift, lift, lift the thighs up. Lindsay V, that's good. Ellen, good. Beautiful, Yukiko. Reach through the fingertips. Reach through the fingertips. The palms are up. And then come down. All right, now you can continue on with the blanket or not, but do continue on certainly with the belts. Now we're going to take a different arm position, arms out to the side and then down. Then we'll take another arm position out to the side and then scoop the arms forward and up. Okay, so here we go, Shalabhasana with Vimanasana arms. Make sure, Tristan, you have enough room on that right side to spread your right arm. Okay, so raise the legs, raise the chest, raise the arms. Yes, Gail, beautiful. Vimanasana, arms in Shalabhasana. Now come down. Come down. Now you're going to repeat arms out to the side, but then you'll get momentum to swing the arms forward. So with that said, rise up, legs come up, arms come up, neck long, and now scoop the arms forward and in line with your ears. Don't let them drop. It's a lot of work. Okay, and down you come. Now, keep the arms in front of you. This is the hardest one. The arms are overhead. That Urdhva Hastasana is always the most challenging. So extend your arms. If you have a bolster nearby, which I think most of you do, it could be helpful if you don't get the lift. Now raise the roots of the thighs up. That's it. Raise the arms up to that Urdhva Hastasana, palms facing each other. Good. If the arms drop lower than the ears, there's a possibility of putting the forearms on yet another blanket or a bolster. Gail, that's really good. Supporting that a smidge of upper arm and elbow, that will help you. Okay, so now if you need the bolster, you can take it or another blanket. Elaine, good. Or it could also be a chair. You could reach out to the seat of the chair. We used to do that a lot. Elaine, good. Raise the legs, keep the neck long, and the arms are overhead. So keep moving the trapezius away from the neck, my friends, and down you come. So we're going to do Makrasana, and those iterations I have found help Makrasana, which is a challenging pose for many. We'll do two different arm positions, the classical, where the hands are here, and then the one where the arms are more like Shirshasana. So let me just show this rather quickly. So there's different iterations of this. I'll just show this. So I'm going to use the blanket because I find this posture hard for the roots of the thighs. I think you can see it with the white blanket. And then I'm going to take the arms out to the side, which is much easier on my neck. And I look more outward than down to the floor, okay? So Makrasana with the hands kind of in that Ardha Navasana position. Again, a grunty pose. But we're doing this actually we're using these, just to give you the method behind the madness today, we're using these prone back bends to get that high quality chaturanga. Interlace the hands firm at the webbing and have your hands not on the neck, but rather at the very base of the skull. So it's your hands are pressing into the bone, the skull, and not into the skin and flesh. Now, raise the legs, raise the chest, raise the head. That's it. Lindsay, very good. Okay, come down. Change the cross of the hands as we do in Ardha Navasana. Raise the legs, raise the chest, look forward from the bridge of the nose. Good. So the hands are interlaced and we're in across and behind your head. All right, now come down. Now that's fine. All right, now this is the harder one. All right, so now the hands are interlaced a la Shirshasana, right? So the arms are going from this position, much more centralized. And then you'll do the same exact posture. Janet, excellent. All right, so first of all, scrub the elbow points away from you. Start with lengthening that tricep flesh. Scrub the skin to the elbow. It's an observable and doable action. That's it, Elaine. And then lift the legs, lift the chest, lift the head. If your elbows don't come up, you can support them on two pieces of foam block if you have. One of the few poses that foam blocks really work well. Okay, and down you come. All right, just rest there, form that little pillow, and just appreciate what you've done. Okay, just rest there.
So Ronnie, what's wrong with me? The hardest one is the one that I did the best. I think it's because there's more concentrated weight in the front of my body, which brings my legs up.
Interesting. I have to think about that.
All right.
Now, I will say that if the armpits are tight, that last iteration can be really challenging.
Yeah, no, My problem was lifting my legs, and I got my best lift in the last one. Don't ask.
That's good. That's good, Janet. The other way you could work on that is if you just practice the hand position and then just lift the legs and then do, yeah. I'll show you that at the end of the class if you want to see it. So this is what I'm going to have you do. Elaine, you don't need to do this from dog pose, as you know. So I'd like everyone to get a belt. You already have it. We're going to do Adho Mukha Svanasana to plank, high plank, which we did without the belt. And then we're going to attempt to come into Chaturanga. So Elaine, you just skip the Adho Mukha Svanasana. So the belt has to be fairly taut because when you go down into plank, if it's too big, so I have it right now slightly above the elbow pit. But I will tell you, it's more what I would say on the inside of my inner arms versus on the outer side of my arms, because then that would be too big. So I would err on slightly tighter than looser. Okay, slightly tight. And then if you take your arms out, I can usually tell. Janet, a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter. So more what I would say, unless it's too tight on the inner arm, but not to the outer arm. All right, because otherwise it'll make it harder. Yokiko, have it closer to the elbow pit, a little closer, because I think that would be too high up. Gail, I think yours could also be a little tighter. Ellen, yours looks tight. You'll see if it's too tight. You don't want, it's like, it's a Goldilocks pose. If it's too tight, it won't work. If it's too loose, it won't work. Okay, now let me show you in profile. Now this is a challenging pose for me because, I've had some shoulder issues along the way. So as I said earlier, try to do this twice a week, every week. Because I find that one high quality, two high quality is more important than 15-30. And that's oftentimes will blow out the shoulder, as you know. All right, so watch. So I'll take my Adho Mukha Svanasana. Could do it from Tadasana. See, this is where my belt is just the right, not too tight, not too loose. Then I take a nice high quality plank, lifting my abdomen away from the floor, chiseling my tailbone down. Then I have to step in. I have to step in so that my upper arm and a lower arm can form a right angle. And then I take my high quality Chaturanga Dandasana, and the belt underneath supports my upper chest so I can stay. And then I can push back to plank. And then I exhale back to dog. And then that's my one high quality. And then if I want to go on, I'll take two. But it's every day is different, and I'm not saying 2 a day, I'm saying 2 a week. All right, 2 a week. All right, here we go. This keeps your Chaturanga in operation. Tristan, do you agree? I hope so. Doing 50 is not helpful. All right, here we go. That's it, Gail. Many of you will have to walk in so that your upper, that's it, Val. Now bend the elbows. Yes. And yes, you see how that supports the chest, Val? You're getting good tailbone now. If you're not coming into Chaturanga Dandasana, if your shoulder's bothering you, that's not a problem. You can do plank. Okay. And then if you have it in you, or you can go back to the bolster shape or at the wall, or leave the room and do it at the stairs, then take your second quality, high quality, and that will be good for a week. All right. That's it, Janet. Beautiful plank. Now, bend the elbows, inner elbows toward each other, lower down so that the whole body, beautiful. Toes are tucked under, toes are tucked under. Yes, there is a variation where the feet, Janet, where you're actually on the tops of the feet. Okay, just so that you know that. Okay, and out you come. All right, now I'll give you a choice. We're going on to Urdhva Mukha. Some of you might benefit by using a chair. I think you know who you are. We've done it many times that way, with the palms turned out. You can do it with the hands on blocks. You can do it from, sound like Dr. Seuss, you can do it from anywhere, right? You can do it from a prone position. You can do it from the chair. So Elaine, I see, has gotten the chair. The chair is a wonderful way to do it because the chest winds up more perpendicular, okay? So pick your way. You can do it from dog pose. Elaine, you're not doing it from dog pose. You can do it from a prone position, which is actually the hardest. So we're doing upward facing dog now. Upward facing dog. Use the chair. Yeah, you can put the chair at the wall. Okay. All right. Turn the blocks don't have to necessarily be turned out, but the hands, it'll help you move the chest through. Okay, let's see it. Three fine Urdhva Mukha. Yukiko, that's a good way to work so that against the wall so your chest is parallel. Remember in this one, the whole leg is off the floor. You don't have to come onto the tops of the feet, but you will get a stronger tailbone action if you do. Give me 3. Janet, scoot closer to the chair. Okay, now that's good. Spread the backs of the thighs. If you need to have the feet wider apart for the sacrum, Janet, yeah, you got to come closer to the chair. Come closer. Yeah, so start with just standing up with your feet directly underneath. No, coming closer to the, yeah. And now drop into Urdhva Mukha if you can. Can you do it that way? Maybe a smidge. Yes, there you go. Now drop the pelvis, Janet, drop it down to the end. That's it. See now, Janet, your chest is much more upright. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good indeed. All right. Now let's do with movement, Utkatasana. Everyone can do. All right. So start at the top of the mat. You can show me in profile. Tristan's here and she's the queen of moving the shins back. All right. So remember, we've worked on this a lot. And remember, I would say Utkatasana is a very utilitarian pose. It's as good for back bends, which we're in the process of doing, not much more in this particular sequence. It's as good for back bends as it is for forward bends. So I call it a very utilitarian pose. Raise the arms up, but press the roots of the thighs back. Now we'll do it with movement because movement helps. So you're going to bend at your hips. And as you bend at the hips, shins move back so you stay grounded in the heels and go down. But don't go so far down that your trunk loses a fairly upright, good Tristan, position. And again, come up. Okay, a few more times in that mat. Arms up, reach up, thighs back, heels down, outer shins in, sit down, go down. Imagine a chair behind you. And then come up. And again, go down, reach up. That's it. These look good. These look very, 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 very good. Buttock flesh again moves toward the knee side, backwards toward the head. Okay, now we've been doing this in the classes and getting ready for the Utkatasana jumpings, which we've taught now, I think 4 times. Go to the wall and do heel raises. So this one, you're at the wall. You don't have to focus on balance, taking balance out of the picture. Again, some of these things are easier done in a supported sneaker, Lindsay. I'm lifting my heels up. And one of the things I would be cognizant about is don't let your outer ankles roll out. So your inner and outer heels should run parallel. Tristan, you're at the rope wall, so that should help. Lift the heels up and down. The heel raises. Lindsay, it's good that you're wearing the brace. Now, I hope this is helpful for the feet. Lift the heels up and down. Try to get as much beautiful height, Yukiko. Some of you are getting the heels like 6 inches off the floor. Good, Ellen. These are good. Go up and down because this will help with the jumpings, which I'll have Elaine demonstrate. Lift the heels up. Okay. Now I want to clarify this, Val, because you were had asked me about this with Donna last week. When you do this jumping Utkatasana, you know, you're jumping up and then you're kind of rolling back down on the foot from the ball to the heel, which happens in a split second. And then you go back up. So I actually, before I spotlight Elaine, so first of all, I'm doing the easy way because I have sneakers on. So I like to do it this way. I take my arm, because my feet are, you know, problematic. So I'm wearing the sneaker. You need to go out, get the sneakers, it's fine. Val, do you have the sneakers today? Val, you can get your sneaker if you want. Okay, so I'm taking my arms down and then I jump up, down, So you can see this is a little bit easier than keeping the arms up and jumping up the way Elaine is going to demonstrate now. So let me spotlight Elaine. So one of the reasons why we're doing this is twofold. One, this impact helps with osteopenia, osteoporosis, well, certainly osteopenia. And it helps with the fast twitch muscles, okay? So let me spotlight. And we're doing this, good, Janet. We're doing this a few times because, it's really helpful to do some of this kind of work within the yoga lineage. All right, so Elaine, go slowly, and you could do the harder variation since you do it so well. All right, so you can watch her feet, goes pretty fast. So she comes into Utkatasana, and then she's going to use her, yes. So she lands, the heel comes down, but it's a very soft landing because she's rolling from the ball of the foot to the heel. So I wanted to clarify that. Thank you, Elaine. Those of you who have foot issues, or if it bothers your knees or ankles, then what I would say is go back to either a straight Utkatasana or continue on, Gail, if it makes sense for you, to continue on with the heel raises. So there's always something to do. Because sometimes movement, although it can be really helpful for certain poses, this might be too challenging for it, perhaps a foot issue or even a knee issue or an ankle issue. So the heel raises or the static Utkatasana. Okay, let's see. A few in that manner. If you're able and willing. So I've seen many of Gail jump up. Try to really launch yourself. Think that you've been bound to the earth for a long, long time, and now you're leaving the earth, becoming unbound by the earth. I know it takes a lot of energy. Do about 6. Elaine, you're getting tremendous height. Of course, this helps also build strength in the quads, which is helpful to prevent sarcopenia, the loss of that muscle mass. Okay, now we're going to continue our work. This is what we're going to do now that we've explored all those postures. We're going to do, and you can do it with a belt. So this first round, I'll show quickly, is those poses in vinyasa. Okay, putting them together. So I'm going to take Utkatasana and then jump back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, or step back. Come into a high quality Chaturanga Dandasana, and then back to high plank Adho Mukha Svanasana. Then if you have the energy, this would be this, well, let's do this first one and then I'll speak. Okay? So I like the, I think that's too big, my friend. Yeah, air on tighter than looser, although it will feel a little bit odd to take the arms overhead. But you can do this with the belt on. And if you don't want the belt, you don't have to use the belt. Use blocks. All right, so show me in profile, and then we'll see how we do with this, and then I'll move on. Now, one of the things, and we can explore this, we'll have a few minutes after class. Elaine, you can do that, but you can also do your high plank Chaturanga, high plank Chaturanga. And then you'll do whatever you want. Okay. That's it, Justin. Beautiful. All right, that's it. Now jump back if that's possible. Remember, we did all this work with the belt in the middle of the mat, or jump, jump, jump. Yes. Now, from an Adho Mukha Svanasana, keeping with our theme, come into a high quality Chaturanga. And then Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay. Now, remember the belt in the middle of the mat from Adho Mukha Svanasana. Jump over the belt. Tristan, you are here when we put a belt down the other day. So we could have done that, but I decided not to. Now come up. All right, now we're gonna just do 2 more. Elaine, that's fine. All right, Utkatasana again. If you need to rest, please do. Just 2 more, don't worry, and they're quick. Utkatasana. All right, now Adho Mukha Svanasana, jump back, or if you step the other leg. All right, now this time, instead of going straight to Chaturanga, go to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Go to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Okay. Now, Chaturanga Dandasana from Urdhva Mukha. And now, Adho Mukha, dog. Okay, jump forward. All right, now we call it a double chaturanga. Here we go. Back to Utkatasana when you're ready. Good, Jason. Last and final one. If you need to rest, then you can rest with the legs, which we'll do in Virasana. All right, one last one. Okay, Utkatasana. Bend forward, jump back or step back with the alternating leg. Now take Chaturanga. Chaturanga, good now. Now Urdhva Mukha from Chaturanga. Now go back to Chaturanga. So that last vinyasa, the third and final one, has that double Chaturanga. And then from here, rest your legs at last in Virasana with block. Okay, so now using Virasana as a resting pose. So I'd be curious, I'm just in profile showing you Virasana. Lindsay, if it bothers your knees, just sit up at the wall in any seated posture. But I'm sitting on block, and of course, Lindsay could always be higher than the low side. Just use Virasana because it is a resting pose, not always used for an active experience. Okay, so one of the things, and we can talk about it on the other side, is as we get older, we're a little bit more loath to do vinyasa. You know, that's just the nature of it. So again, inclining your minds, and this is what I've been wanting to do a little bit in December, is to do the Utkatasans, what Elaine demonstrated, to do the jumpings, which I didn't show, where we put the belt, you know what I mean, jumping backward, jumping forward over the belts, like, you know, when you were kids. And then doing a vinyasa. And I would say, you know, with Chaturanga, so that encompasses that once a week thing to keep it going so that we don't lose ground lost, so that we don't backslide. Okay, so does that make sense? Although it's challenging. All right, so you're on your brick, and now let me show you something that's nice to do. So I'm going to use Gomukha. I'm going to use Virasana as a platform for Gomukhasana, and then I'm going to use Gomukhasana as a platform for Lalasana. So watch. This is not the classic way to do Gomukhasana, but I'm sitting on the block, and then I'm crossing the right knee over the left. It looks like Gomukhasana only on the block, so it's easier for those people who have knee issues. Okay, so let me show it from frontal view. I haven't taught it this way. All right, so you're in Virasana. And then we're coming into Gomukhasana legs. I lean to the left, entwine the right leg around the left. And what's nice about doing it this way, it's easier on that left knee. All right, now let's do this. The right leg's on the top. All right, so we're going to take the left arm behind you, opposite arm, opposite leg, and reach up. Don't worry about the belt. So this is Gomukhasana, arms and Gomukhasana legs. Now swap the arms. There's nothing saying no dogma here. Doesn't always have to be when the right leg's on top, but the left arm's behind. Okay, now release the arms, and in Gomukhasana legs, do Garudasana arms. Raise the triceps. Again, no dogma. You can use the arms here in Garudasana with the legs in Gomukhasana. And change. All done. Lift the triceps or keep it a little higher away from the floor. So this part of the back of the arm is lifting away. Okay, now take your legs, stretch them out. Come back to Virasana. So the feet point straight back in Virasana, which is what they do in Lolasana, and what the classical iteration of Gomukhasana does. We'll try that as well, where the heel is in the valley of the tailbone. All right, now cross the left leg over the right. Knee on top of knee. Now the left leg's on top. So take the left arm behind. Is that right? No. Yeah. Right arm up. We'll swap it. Don't worry. The thing is, you don't have to worry if you get it not right because we're changing. And then change. Movement really helps the arm position. Okay, now Garudasana arms, either arm on the bottom, doesn't matter. We're swapping now. Raise the triceps. And then other side. And then release. Okay, so oftentimes this leg position is given for Gomukhasana for those people who have knee issues. Now the final pose is a little bit different to come into. I'm going to show literally from behind. So I'm going to adjust. So my left foot is in Virasana, and I'm going to cross as you did a moment ago. You saw from the front. My right leg is in front, but my heel, the heel of my left heel is in literally, to use Jarvis's words, the valley of the tailbone. And I sit back. It's actually easier in sneakers, I find. The other thing, let me just show, is oftentimes one will feel tipsy in it. So you can put the blanket over that heel that's in the valley of the tailbone and sit back on that so you're steady in it. Okay? All right. If that bothers your knee, Lindsay V, you can go back to the variation we just did with the block, or you could even do something like, remember what I taught, a supine Gomukhasana. So these are just, ways in which you can, if you need to adjust, as I said, make your practice an inquiry of how do you need to do it for your body. All right, we'll just do the legs today. We did the arms. These look good. So remember, the heel is in the valley of the tailbone, and then this other leg is as close to the opposite hip as possible. Okay, if you look at Light on Yoga. Change sides when you're ready. Yes, you can do the arms. It's always good to stretch the legs out in Dandasana to get the extension. All right, change sides. Lindsay, you can do it supine. It's much easier on the knees. All right, so now you're doing Gomukhasana, true iteration, heel in the valley of the tailbone, and your other foot is as close to the hip as possible. And then lift the lower spine away from the floor. If you find that you're toppling, insert blanket. Okay. And now again, stretch out your legs. So I said that I would try very hard based on the conversations after class. You would do an arm balance in the next few practices. Like that. Well, you did Tolasana, we did on Tuesday. Lolasana, I agree, is a little bit harder. So watch. We're going to use the blocks. We didn't in Tolasana because actually most people don't use the blocks. Most people need the blocks in Lolasana. And even to the point where the blocks are not on the lowest side, but I will show you an iteration of this supine, so don't worry. All right. No, actually, I won't show it that way. I'll do it now. So look, everyone can at least do this. Let me show them profile. So my blocks are on the medium side. And now I point my feet straight back. I cross my shins. It feels like the ankles are pointed straight back. The first iteration, I think everyone can do, is raise the knees, draw the abdomen back, so the feet are not off the floor. This is easier. Knees are up, thighs are up, merging the chest with the thighs. And then if that's coming along, then absolutely at some point you can raise the feet, raise the knees, and swing to and fro. Okay? Now, I would say, if I'll call it the perch. The perch is the first day. You don't swing, you don't have to swing in the perch, just lift the knees. And if that doesn't work, you can do an iteration supine, similar to what you did, Lindsay. All right, you can show me in profile. Have the blocks, don't have them too close to the knees. You have to draw the abdomen back. All right, let's try it. Just the perch, Ellen, go. Feet point straight back. It'll feel like the ankles. Good, Janet. Very, very good, my friend. All right, a few times in that manner. Change the cross in the perch. Yeah, good, Gail. So the knees are lifting as you draw the abdomen back. Now, if that's coming easily, then you can go to the full pose, perhaps even belting your legs, right? If you want to keep the legs as one unit, right? Underneath, yes, you'll keep go under the ankle and over the thigh you go. That's it, Yukiko. Come on. All right, try it. Try it with if you don't succeed without the belt, then try it with the belt. Belt the outer ankle over the thigh. it, Gail. Yeah. The only thing I would say, Gail, and this is not, I will say when the blocks are on the highest side, do you see how the trunk is almost too upright? And you need the power of the abdomen in the pose. So I think the blocks at the highest height should be on the medium side, because you see the back is a very different position than when the blocks are at the higher height. That's a somewhat nuanced, but it really is challenging when the blocks are at the higher height. Tristan, that's it. Medium height. Now that's it. Draw the abdomen back. Good perch, Lindsay V. Good. So this is much harder, I can see, than Tolasana. It just, that's the nature of it. Lolasana, and I will say body metrics come into, if you happen to be a long-armed being and a narrow being, it's a heck of a lot easier. There's no question about it. Lolasana, that's just the nature of it. It really, you could do Lolasana until you're blue in the face. All right, now stretch out your legs. All right. Does anyone need more explanation for Lolasana? No. All right, Gail, I'll take your lead. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Because had we spent more time, Elaine is tired, had we spent more time on Lolasana, and we could, but you spent a good amount of time and do the jumpings. Now we need to do something for the organic body. So what I'm gonna have you do is a decentralized Supta Padangusthasana 2, because it's one of the very best poses to create space in the body. So let me show, let me clean up this mess. So you all know this one. I'd like you to do it at the wall if that's possible. So watch. I'm just going to show you. You'll take out your right leg. So I have the belt. And I'll start at Supta 1, but then I'm going to decentralize. It'll be your left leg. So I create width across the abdomen and then take a beautiful aerated Supta Padangusthasana 2, turning the belly, in your case, from the right to the left. Okay, so this, I want you to do Supta 2, not thinking about the physicality of the pose, but rather the organic quality of the pose, having done jumpings and arm balances, etc., etc. So if you're in a corner, Jenna, you can support, do centralize the left leg about 3 inches out of the median line. That will help you not to topple over to the right. Right foot can be out wall if it's there. Good. And again, appreciate the organic benefits now, because it should be quite apparent having done the planks and the Chaturanga Dandasanas. Yeah, that's it. Out to the side when you're ready. So you're going from touching one out to the side. Now it's hard for me to tell. You can decentralize the other leg a little bit out of the, so you get width across the pubic plate. And just enjoy once again the breath. The breath should have this quality of spreading everywhere. Your mind spreading everywhere. Good. This is good. So Supta 2 is a wonderful pose to use after poses that have been centralized, like abdominal poses, even back bends to some degree. Stay for about 2 minutes to the right, and then of course we'll do the same thing to the left, and then we'll do Supta 1, 4, and 2, using 4 as a platform for 2. Focusing on 2 here, and then when you're ready to the left, decentralizing the right leg. Again, this is for do Supta 2 for the organic body and the mind. So again, this is a way of incorporating different families of poses in one sequence. Then you can decentralize the right leg now out to the side, so you get width across the pubic plate. Remember that the quality of earth should remain in the right leg. If the right thigh flies out, Yukiko, that's what I was saying for you, then Exactly. If you lose that whole right side of the body, chances are that left leg is too close to the floor. Mhm. You should not feel like you're sinking into the left side. So that right and left side the groins are on their own planes. Right side belongs to the right side, left belongs to the left. They're not commingling. All right. Now take the leg off. And then you can do this at wall or not. We're going into one of my favorite ways to do the Supta cycle is to do all one side, then all the other side. But we're going to start in one. You can see I'm in one, and then I'm going to go to 4. I want to spend a little bit of time in 4, maybe not 2 minutes, but at least 30 seconds, and then use 4 and go back to where you were 2. This Supta Padangusthasana 4 informs Supta Padangusthasana 2, and we'll do the left side. If you want the wall, fine. If you want to decentralize the left leg when we do Supta 2 in this manner, that's fine too. But stay in one, everybody, for a bit, because we didn't do a lot of work on hamstrings except for dog. Those of you who can hold the big toe. Want to complete the pose by raising the chin, raising the head. Fine, taking the shin to the forehead. And then you can hold the big toe as you come into Supta 4. Or not, you can just use the strap. So Supta 4, you're bending your right leg, placing the right foot into the crook of the left elbow. With strap, we're holding the big toe. And then that right arm comes behind the head like we did in Gomukhasana. So that's good. Clamp the left thigh down. If you're in figure 4, that's fine. Stay at least 30 seconds. So stay, and then go out to 2. Appreciate having done 4. Out to the side. Done 2, Supta Padangusthasana 2 twice. And then up to either take, if it works for you better, some people need to decentralize that other leg. Good. And when we come to do the other side, mentally make that self-study of what's it like 1 on this left side as compared to on the right side. What's it like 4 on the left side as compared to the right? So you're constantly, piercing your intelligence, penetrating the pose, and practicing Svadhyaya. Okay, so now when you're ready, I would spend about 2 minutes in 1. It's easier to spend 2 minutes in 1 than it is 4, I understand. If you have any pain in the neck, then I wouldn't lift the head up in 4. You just stay figure 4. 1 on the left, staying for about 2 minutes. Oh, that's good on this side. Left side has come a long way, Val. The injury, Those of you who can think about holding the big toe, even the sides of the foot, the back of the heel, as a prelude to, eventually to Hasta Padangusthasana 1, which we're not going to do, but certainly leads to that. So I would say 2 minutes for 1, and then at least 30 seconds, if not a minute, for 4, and then 2 minutes for 2, just roughly to give you some timing. 4 is the one we probably don't practice as much as 1 and 2. So let's give it some kind attention. Figure 4 is also a possibility, especially if the hip is tight on this left side, then I would opt for 4 if you need to do 4 in the figure 4 iteration, that's fine. So again, like I said, making your practice alive in that way. I forget what I use those words of living your practice, live your way into an answer for you and your body and mind. Find out what you need to do. Okay, now we're pretty much on 4. And then 2, if your left leg sinks to the floor and the right thigh really flies up, then by all means decentralize that right leg, which will help you stay with the right side. So it's sometimes helpful, like as you go to the left, focus more on the right side. That will also help you. Incline your mind to the right side as you go to Supta Padangusthasana 2 on the left side. Your body stays heavy, earthy, that whole right side, right kidney, etc. The other thing that will help is the metrics of this pose is such that the alignment of the chest is that center line and median line of your trunk stays parallel to the ceiling. You haven't gone to the left side, just like it would be in Prajahasta Padangusthasana. Yeah, Lindsay, we're going to do that next. Stay with it. So you can see how this is helpful from an organic point of view to do, after what I would say is somewhat rigorous strength weight bearing class. Then when you're ready, if you have done, then I'd like you to do a flat Supta Baddha Konasana. If you have a foam block or wood block nearby, you can block on the narrow side between the feet. This is a different way to do it. So now flat on your back, Supta Baddha Konasana. Pressing the feet, widening the thighs away, creating a lot of width across the pubic plate as you did in Supta Padangusthasana 2, only now both legs are bent. When you're ready, you're going to come up to Upavishta Konasana. And then just to get a quick twist in, we'll do Parva Upavishta Konasana. We will come into Shavasana, so we won't take the arms up and then down. We'll just keep, because that will alert the brain. Just turn. Remember the trunk is upright in Parva Upavishta Konasana. And then, of course, to the left. Just to get one turn in. I'm only saying not to take the arms overhead because knowing that we're moving to Shavasana, arms overhead typically alerts the brain. And then we'll come forward as a prelude to Shavasana. So just turning. See if you can take those back ribs with you. Don't let them stay behind in that manner. Use your hand as I'm doing and bring forth the left side of the back ribs to the right as you turn to the right. And the same thing to the left. Let those back ribs come along, but not so much so that the buttock lifts off the floor, the trunk is tilted. And then you can repeat, stay heavy, earthy in the legs, just quieting, again, as preparation for Shavasana, and then other side. And then for those who can, will come forward in Upavishta Konasana. Again, to quiet the brain prior to relaxation. Build up the height. Arms can be forward, although I will say for most people, when they decentralize the arms, it helps them keep the trapezius skin moving away from the neck. So I prefer the arms out to the side with the elbows slightly lifted so that the shoulder, the trapezius skin can move down to the waist. Keep the legs on the floor. feet perpendicular. And again, not so much to improve in this pose, but rather as a segue, like Paschimottanasana, like Upavishta Konasana coming forward, is that transition to a quiet, peaceful Shavasana and moving forward. So, it's interesting to think we take a few poses to come into the practice. It's nice to take a few poses to come into Shavasana. Sometimes it's time, just the sheer time. We've gotten to the end of class and we have to go straight into Shavasana. But the segue is like music. There's the crescendo, it builds up, slowing down at the end. And then you can do a Shavasana of your choice. Many of the chairs out. You can do lower legs on the seat of the chair. You can put the bolster on the tall side, which is nice. Just imagine my lower legs on the seat of the chair. And traction, Gail, this is always good for anyone who has had some issues with their back during this time. You can lie prone. You can lie with your knees on the bolster. Many, that's good, Lindsay, yeah, with the ankles supported from Shavasana. So I'm going to give you time if you need to go to the bathroom or get an eye pillow or get extra blankets so you're warm. And again, just attune yourself to the environment now as it is. Perhaps the leaf blowers have stopped playing their tune. Maybe they are playing their tune. And then you can decide not to go toward the sound. Make that conscious decision. You don't have to go toward that sound. Let's attune yourself now to your environment, your room. And also attune yourself that you're practicing, even though you are not seeing the person next to you, but you're practicing with others in community, in this co-created Sangha, if you will. Grateful that in some way we can be together. See if you can encourage the virtues of the heart. To deepen the virtues like loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, curiosity, patience, investigation, and of course, wisdom. Allowing all these qualities, these virtues to thrive. Sensing the body lying here, the body of the breath. Sensing sound inside the room, sound inside yourself, and sound outside the room. Not pushing it away. No need to manage the body or the breath or the sound. Just allowing everything to be as they are. Seeing that everything has the nature to arise and pass away. Knowing that truth, that everything has the nature to arise and pass away, we can truly connect with the joy of no control. We have no control over what arises. simply enjoy now. 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 Now, for those of you who are indeed prone, perhaps moving back to child's pose, Lindsay, you can use the bolster in front of you, which will help your knees. And actually, for that matter, if anyone wants to go to child's pose, it's a wonderful thing to do after Shavasana. Feel free. You can support the, I like doing it this way. So Lindsay, if there's knee issues, you can do it like this, building up maybe even two bolsters, the support going in front. But some of you might feel this is quite supportive when you put the chest and do an anterior chest support, Adho Mukha Virasana, which is quite lovely. Haven't done that in some time. Yukiko, good. That's it. That's it, yeah. Just embrace, hug the pillow. If you want to stay where you are, that's fine. There's something about resting the forehead, Lindsay. I know if anyone who's prone to migraine headaches, this is kind of a go-to pose because that forehead is supported and you're in contact with the earth element, which is very grounding. And just rest there. If your knees bother you, I would change the bolsters to be in front of you, two in front perhaps, and forearms supported. That will cause the buttocks to go down. And then when you're ready, after you've spent sufficient time in child's pose, which is a forward bend, so we got the forward bend of Upavishta and Adho Mukha Svanasana, and take a cross-legged position and just sit for a moment, attuning yourself in an upright seated posture, any posture of your choice. So just find the median line of your body. Feel the buttock bones, touch points of the pose, that part of the pose that you can connect to that earth element. Hands touching the roots of the thighs. So as usual, take time to ask any questions. I'll unrecord and you'll unmute yourselves.